Namaste yogis, Alicia here. I am here for another vlog, and today we're going to talk about setting your boundaries. As a queen, as a yoga queen, you must set your boundaries. A queen is someone who presides over a domain, and that can be your physical body, that could be your household, that could be your community, that could be your business, your yoga teaching business, whatever it is. You create this domain, and anytime you have a domain, anytime you have borders, anytime you have something that's different from something else, there has to be some type of distinction, and that comes in with boundaries. Boundaries, and I talk about boundaries in my book. So if we look at, let's see if I have my book handy, here we go. If we look at, oh, these are so important. Boundaries, we have actual boundaries when it comes to energy, and we have physical boundaries like our skin. This one that I was showing that has to do with the earth boundary. So that's when you talk about dealing with the chakras. We have the self-preservation, we have fear, and then we have things like food-wise, nourishment-wise, healthy proteins, unhealthy proteins. We have different boundaries and things that we want to create around water, around our sexuality. So there's a lot of different ways that we can create boundaries and ways we can think about boundaries. And on this topic, because it came up for me today, as a yoga teacher, as someone in your family who has created transformation through your yoga practice, as someone in your community that has created transformation through your yoga practice, you are not the same person that you were 5 years ago, 5 months ago. You are absolutely valid in creating yourself anew, in raising your standards and elevating your level. And if people are still seeing you from a certain perspective, then reinforcing your boundaries is a healthy, loving way to reinforce who you are right here in this moment. And with that being said, I'll give y'all the example. I have a yoga community that I've worked with in the past, and this particular community worked with me at the beginning of my yoga career, and they were used to paying me at a certain rate. And then I started doing trainings and taking personal trainings for me. I started being a part of trainings with different schools and different programs. And then I started hosting my own teacher trainings. And then I started to do business trainings and invested a lot of money and time into who I am now. So I'm not the same person that I was when I worked with them originally. So this particular community approached me about working with them. And I made it very clear that my rates and my energy exchange now is much different than my rates and my energy exchange were at the beginning of my yoga career. And this community was acknowledging of that. And we seemed to have an agreement on how we would proceed as far as the business goes. And for multiple reasons, there were some things that happened that led to us having a conversation about whatever the needs of the business are, and that affecting the need for my rate to now be not what we originally discussed. And I feel like, I don't take things personally. And I felt like at first, when I first read the email, I thought it was quite interesting. And so I took some time to reflect on that and really think, like, what is this here that's happening? Because life doesn't happen to me. Life happens for me. So what is happening right here? This is a chance for me to reestablish my boundaries with the person who I am right now. This is a chance for me to make a choice energetically. Do I feel like taking this offer at that rate is something that is an energetic exchange for me? Is that something that I see as being valid? And the only way to actually acknowledge the work that I've done, the fact that at this point, to book an hour with me depends on what you want. And it's $400 or $500 for a yoga session. That's my rate if you're going to work with me at this current recording of the video. It may change if you reach out to me a year from now. And so in the past, I did not have that same rate, and I've charged less for my services before. And I realized that when I charged less, I got certain energy back from the clients, and certain types of clients would book me for the less expensive offers. And in those exchanges, I was not honoring the desire and the image and the vision that I have for my life and my gifts, and the assignment, the duty that I feel called to serve was not being served in those services. And at this point, when I work with NFL wives, when I work with NBA wives, when I work with personalities, I get to charge what they respect as something of quality. And in that regard, there's a completely different energy, as opposed to someone who's looking to pay. And like, I think someone in my DM asked me for like a $50. And I was like, I cannot help you. I'm happy to refer you. And it's not personal. This is something that I've learned over the years that makes sense for me. That makes sense for my energy, makes sense for my investment and what I've put into my work. And not only that, after I teach, if I leave my house at all, I have to put on clothes. First of all, I just want to say that all these vlogs that I've been creating, I have to put on clothes first. Or I did one yesterday where I didn't have clothes on. Don't tell my husband. But I only showed up here, okay? So, like, there's energy involved before I even show up. Like, I have to actually put on clothes. I have to actually get in the vehicle, drive in, sometimes traffic depends on the time. I mean, there's energy exchange before I even arrive. So as a queen, as someone who recognizes my own sovereignty, I get to choose what that means for me. Does that mean that I don't do events that are not willing to work with the rate that I have? Yeah. Does that hurt my feelings? No. Am I happy to refer those people to yoga teachers who are happy to accept those amounts? Yes, I feel like it's my pleasure to refer yoga teachers. So if you're a yoga teacher and you're not in my network, I'm creating a directory of yoga teachers, and I need to have your contact information. I need to have your location where you prefer, if it's in person, if it's online. Like, I need that information because people are asking me. And there's no way that I can teach yoga to everybody. I am not everyone's yoga teacher. And I'm very clear about that. That's something that I had to learn the hard way. I do not want to teach everybody's yoga class. I am for a select few people. I have the energy capacity for myself and the select few. And anybody outside of that, I'm happy to refer. And so, like, I'm okay with that. And does that mean that I have less clients? Sometimes. But me, back in the day, working, like, when I first started teaching yoga, maybe I had taught like 500 classes, 1,000 classes, something like that. And I was making like $45, $40 a class, something like that. And I was like, yeah, that's good money. And I was teaching like all the time. And that was the learning and the lesson that I needed at that time. And I'm not in that same place. And I happily talk about money and prices openly because I don't believe in that taboo shit. Like, I'm not afraid to talk about money. If you want to have a conversation, like, what's the price? There's an energy exchange. You're getting my time that we can easily say, oh, you know, let's meet for this amount of time. Okay, well, let's talk about this amount of money. Like time, money, like all of those things, like it's a conversation. It's a discussion. So, all right, so I'm going to give you one takeaway. First of all, if you're a yoga teacher, reach out to me directly. DM me on Instagram. Get on my email list. Like, I need your contact information so that when I get requests and they say, oh, I need a prenatal, like, I don't teach prenatal. That's not my specialty. I can go down my list. Oh, I got 5 prenatal yoga teachers. And you want online? Okay. Or you want in Texas? Okay. Here's the person for you. And they trust what I say because they came to me for yoga. Okay. Here's your takeaway. So your takeaway is that you're going to create a boundary for yourself. And you can use the finance thing because that's what we've talked about for a couple minutes. Draw a circle on a piece of paper like so. And I think I have I have a green one. Draw a circle on a piece of paper like so. On the inside, write what you do want. What you do want to receive. What you do feel like is a great exchange. Maybe you're open to doing, you know, weekend retreats. Maybe you're open to doing a 1 week. Maybe you're open to doing a 3-hour workshop. Maybe not. On the outside, put the things that you don't want. Okay? And now you have a visual of a boundary. And you can do this for anything. If you have this book, Yoga Best Life, it's a chakra workbook. You can go through each chakra and write your energetic boundaries visually so you can see it. This is how you start to gain strength, confidence, ability to gracefully speak your truth about your boundaries is by visually seeing them and recognizing that they're real. So if we think about living in a house, somebody can just walk on your lawn unless you have a fence. And then someone can actually see that boundary. It's clear that there's a certain place where you can be and where you cannot be. And so it makes it really clear to have that discussion. Or there's not even a need for a discussion because the boundary is so clear that they actually can't cross over. So these are things that in the health and wellness industry haven't quite been solidified on a mass scale. But you can start that. You can create your own boundaries financially and any energetic level. So that is your homework. That's your takeaway. Again, if we're not connected, find me on Instagram, Official Yoga Queen. DM. In your DM, be very clear. Write the word directory. Give me your info. Give me your name. Give me your specialty. Give me what you're certified in. What if I called you and spoke to you on the phone, you actually knew what you were talking about? Give me that. Give me where you teach. Do you teach online? Do you teach in person in a certain city or area? Give me that. And I'm happy. I am so happy to refer. Like, my goal when people reach out to me is to refer. Like, before I even think about taking on a client, because I have so many projects that are happening, I refer. And so that's another thing before we end. And I'm like, I didn't even want to teach a public class. I was doing this as a favor because this location, this community was there at the beginning of my career. And so it was like a nostalgic, like, you know, okay. But I really, at this point, since the world shut down, I have not felt called to teach in person. I like hosting events. Events are different. Events have had something else. And there may be some opportunities for yoga teachers like yourself to host events and learn how to host events. So that's coming. Keep your eyes open and ears open for that. But this every week thing, for me at this point in my life, is not the same. And I remember a time where I used to be like, how much yoga can I teach? I would teach every day. I used to teach multiple classes a day. At this point, that's not my life. So every step of the way is valid. Wherever you are in your journey is valid. And you gotta be able to recognize where you are. All right? I'm gonna leave it on that note. My name is Alicia. Check out the caption for additional information, the links that you might need, even the Instagram link and all of that stuff. So check that out in the caption. I will see you in the next video. Peace, y'all.